Have you ever wondered why your back aches after a round of golf, even when your swing feels absolutely perfect? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty simple framework that it's going to completely change the way you think about pain and performance. You know, it's a frustratingly common story for athletes, especially in sports like golf and tennis. You've got this nagging pain in your lower back, or maybe a sharp twinge in your shoulder, but your technique, it feels solid. So, what's the deal? Okay, so the first clue comes from a game-changing concept in modern training, one championed by strength coach Mike Boyle and physical therapist Gray Cook. What they noticed was a predictable pattern of injury that flipped a lot of old ideas right on their head. And the big takeaway? The pain you feel is almost never coming from the place that actually has the problem.
And that right there is the crucial point. Your body is a master of compensation. It will do whatever it takes to get a movement done, even if that means putting a dangerous amount of stress on all the wrong parts. So the area that's screaming in pain, it's often just the victim of a crime committed somewhere else in your body.
This analogy just captures the issue perfectly. When we just ice or stretch or massage the part that hurts, we're basically just yanking the battery out of the smoke detector without ever looking for the fire. The pain is a signal, and our job is to find the source of that smoke. So, to find that source, we need a map of the body. And the simplest, most effective map is to think of the body as a stack of joints, where each one has a very specific job to do. And this is what's called the joint-by-joint approach. It breaks down our entire kinetic chain into a series of joints, each with a primary need. A joint either needs to be mobile, meaning it's built for a big range of motion, or it needs to be stable, meaning its main job is to provide a solid platform and resist any unwanted movement. Now, here's where it gets really cool. Just take a look at this. There's this beautiful, simple pattern that emerges. Starting from the ground up, the ankle, it needs mobility. The knee, right above it, needs stability. The hip needs mobility. Your lumbar spine or your low back needs stability. The thoracic spine from mid-back needs mobility. And the shoulder, it needs stability. You see that? It's a perfect alternating stack of mobile and stable joints. And here is the aha moment. When a joint that's supposed to be mobile, like your hips or your thoracic spine, gets stiff, well, the body still needs to find that movement somewhere. So what does it do? It forces the stable joints above or below it to move more than they should. A stable lumbar spine is forced to rotate, or a stable shoulder is forced to become loose and sloppy to find that range of motion. That compensation is the root cause of the pain. But this breakdown doesn't just cause pain. Nope, it has a huge impact on your performance. It actually creates leaks in your kinetic chain, and that robs you of power and efficiency. Let's look at two classic examples, right? For the golfer with that nagging low back pain, the problem isn't a weak back. Oh no. As research shows, it's very often a lack of hip mobility, specifically internal rotation. The lumbar spine, which just craves stability, is forced to over-rotate to complete the swing, and that leads to pain. And for the tennis player with that sharp shoulder pain, the issue is often a stiff thoracic spine. If the T-spine can't rotate, the shoulder joint is forced to become unstable to generate that whip-like action of a serve, leading to impingement and injury. These compensations, these are what we call energy leaks. Think of your kinetic chain like a whip. Power is generated from the ground up, and it should flow seamlessly from your legs, through your core, and out through your arms. But a stiff joint? That's like a knot in the whip. The energy can't transfer efficiently. It just leaks out.
But how much does it really matter? Really. Let's put some numbers on it. A 20% reduction in energy. And this shows you the cost. Biomechanical studies of the tennis serve found that a mere 20% drop in energy from the core and legs forces the arm to speed up by a massive 34% just to produce the same powered impact. Think about that. Your arm is working overtime to make up for that energy leak, and that is a recipe for overuse injuries. So how do we find these leaks? Well, the good news is it's not guesswork. Professionals can conduct what's called a mobility audit using simple, effective movement screens to pinpoint the exact location of the problem. Systems like the Functional Movement Screen or the Titleist Performance Institute screen, they're designed specifically to test each joint's function. They systematically check for these hidden restrictions that could be setting you up for pain and a serious loss of power. Let's just take a look at how this works in practice. So here's an example for the T-spine. It's the seated trunk rotation test. You sit tall, lock your lower body in place, and then just rotate your torso. The goal here is to see if you can achieve at least 45 degrees of rotation without cheating by leaning or moving your hips.
It's a really simple test that clearly isolates your thoracic mobility.
And what about the hips? Well, a trainer can easily measure your internal rotation while you're lying face down. And hey, remember that case study of the golfer with back pain? His screening revealed he only had 10 degrees of internal rotation in his lead hip. That one measurement, that was the key that unlocked the real source of his long-standing back pain.
Understanding the problem is the first step. So now let's talk about what you can actually do with this information, whether you're an athlete or a fitness professional. So if you're an athlete and you're dealing with nagging pain, stop chasing the symptom. Go to your coach or your trainer and ask for a mobility audit. Seriously, use that term. Find out where your energy leaks are and start working on the real cause. It will not only resolve your pain, but it will probably unlock a whole new level of performance. And if you're a coach or a trainer, make this approach your default. When a client complains of pain, your first step should always be to assess the joints above and below that area. Use screens to get objective data. Quantify their movement so you can track their progress and actually prove your approach is working. So, we'll leave you with this question. Take a hard look at your current approach to training and injury. Are you truly building a resilient, high-performing system from the ground up? Or are you just pulling the battery out of the smoke detector, waiting for the fire to catch up with you?